have a bunch of like people in their 30s talking about a multi-million-dollar project, and there's a naked Asian man that needs to get across the screen. So he's like, okay, I'll just crawl under the shot. That sounds good in theory, right? Well, little does he know, this shot is angled, and it's angled down.
It's so wide. It is the widest shot. Okay, Pop.
It's that. Literally just like
It's
that.
literally that. Welcome to the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we talk about entrepreneurship, self-development, challenging norms, episode 100 and... Pop, I just watched you get ready for 6 minutes. My tea was in the roof. Now it's crashing and burning.
Call me Crash Bandicoot of tea. No, who's you ever watch what the fuck 10-minute podcasts? Bit Killer Jones. They call him Bit Killer Jones. That's what you can call me.
Bit Killer Jones, baby, coming at you from Miami.
Yeah, how about this? You know what? Fuck it. I just set this whole setup up. Let me just destroy it really quick. Hey, look at that. Look at that.
Nice
That's
view, Pop.
That's
Pop,
a city.
how's it going?
God, I don't like doing these. I'm kind of sick of them already. No, I love it. I'm back in action. It's going great. You know, I walked outside. I have my shirt off constantly because it's 85 degrees and moist. And I'm moist.
Okay.
How do we do podcasts? I forget now.
This is like, I don't know. It's the good old days. People got to go watch these on YouTube. It's like, I don't really remember how we'd come on here and just rip for 30 minutes. I think you'd have a lot of expletives. You would use those to your advantage.
Do I need those?
And
Okay. Here, I got a couple things on the agenda. You remember the few times that we had an audience for our podcast back in the day? Yeah, I get real nervous clamming up right now. We got a roommate in the background. Yeah. Oh, do I? Fuck, I almost just broke this chair. Yeah, Belky, how about yesterday? How about that little Top Shot meeting?
Oh! Do we have that recorded?
No, because we signed NDAs. We're NDA'd out the wazoo on that one.
I don't even think we're allowed to say we're talking to Top Shot, Pop. That's a bleep.
It already happened. No, it's gone. It's out there. I don't believe in NDAs. Here's Matt. I'm calling him out. Okay, we're on the call. Super professional. We're meeting half these people for the first time. They're like 5 or so. And we're talking about a launch that's worth likely over $10 million. And we're planning out the video for this launch, meeting these people for the first time. And, you know, it's going great. Everything looks like we're legit because we haven't worked with them before. They're kind of clowns because they're in the crypto space, but they're still serious because it's a fucking real deal. And we're trying to be serious. And then in the background, let me swivel this chair so you can see right out there. You see that little balcony? There's some seats there. Well, Matt was hiding and you couldn't see him. Matt is that man right there. Oh no, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
No. He was outside and you could see it was basically like I changed the angle because you couldn't really see me, but he was hidden until he stood up. And he stood up in the middle of this phone call when I'm talking about something serious, like, oh, how do we make this video happen? He stands up in his goddamn boxers. Tighty whities could have been.
It was way more serious than that, Pop. It was like...
They were tight boxers.
Yeah.
It was one of those, I noticed it right over my shoulder. I'm like, well, somebody's going to call out the elephant in the room. I'm like, hey, there's a shirtless, barely clothless man in the background. That's my roommate. We can ignore him. They all chuckle. They're like, that's funny.
Chuckled. Pop. It was, for a virtual meeting, it was the equivalent of being on the floor in tears. For a boring virtual meeting, there was way too much laughter.
That killed. We should have that in everyone. Hey, Matt, every Zoom call, you got to be naked outside on the balcony. No.
But it gets better, Pop. But it gets better.
You're like, okay, that's funny. We laughed. It's like, oh, this is exactly what I wanted for my Zoom meeting today. Thanks for the comic relief. We move on. We get into business again. But then Matt, who's now trapped outside, keep in mind it's 85 degrees, humid. He's not wearing much, but you can still tell he's probably sweating a lot. He needs to come inside, cool down, get his computer. Well, he walks in. He comes in through the door, right? Let me swivel. He comes in through that there door. I was sitting at that there desk. So he's luckily not in the shot. So you're like, okay, that's good. But he needs to cross the shot. And now we're stuck at the same predicament as before. How does he cross the shot? And we have to coordinate this without, without the mic on. Well, the mic is on.
With the biggest NFT project on the phone. How about that?
This is probably like, it's fucking massive. I don't know how to I guess we have to respect some parts of the NDA, but it's a really big deal. And so Matt now has to cross over. And how do you do this? Say you're the girlfriend, your boyfriend's playing Xbox. It's one of those scenarios. How do you get across the screen? Except now you have a bunch of people in their 30s talking about a multi-million-dollar project, and there's a naked Asian man that needs to get across the screen. So Matt, being the smart man he is,
smart man,
smart in theory, he needs to cross, right? So he's like, okay, I'll just crawl under the shot. Oh, that sounds good in theory, right? Well, little does he know, this shot is angled, and it's angled down.
It's so wide. It is the widest shot.
It's a nice wide camo shot like this. So now picture this. Everyone laughed. We had our chuckle before. We're getting back to business, and start in the background, right behind me. It looks like the shit out of. It's a hairless Asian cat. It's like one of those human centipedes starts crawling in the back. Literally a human centipede. Just a one-man centipede.
And he looks up at the camera. He looks up. He looks right up at it, just to make sure that he's in. Well, that he's not in it, but he's in it.
Please.
What is going on over there?
I don't know. It's chaos. But they laughed again. I think they all think I'm gay and flaunting it, but that's fine. That's fine because business is business.
The head honcho, the head guy was he in not a good way was like, this is what I needed today. Just
in not a good way.
In not a good way. It wasn't like a guys, thanks for the comic relief. It's like, oh, fuck yeah, they are absolute idiots. That's exactly what I needed to see today.
If it wasn't clear, we are absolute idiots.
You should have just turned your video off.
No, well, here's the thing. I didn't realize Matt was crawling till I saw him in the shot crawling behind me, and I'm like, no,
that's right.
No.
Your reaction on the call was literally like, oh. Well, there he goes. As they're on the floor. Okay, Pop. It's that.
Literally just like that.
It was literally that.
Reenactment. And he needs to speak.
Pop, I called an emergency pod. That's why people are here. That's why they're still on YouTube. That's why they're still... Our
people
motif,
here.
Right. Our motif for this pod is just going to be, are you still listening? That's probably in every episode.
If you say motifs, words like that, I'm going to tune out.
You're gone too. Okay, Pop. I got Chamath Palihapitia's number today. Okay?
Hey.
Sit up. Why don't you sit up? Take note.
Hey.
Where are the expletives?
Let me get that.
I think I actually sent it to you.
So you're telling me after he likely saw the tweet where you're like, I got David Sack's phone number, willing to give it away for not that much. He wanted a piece.
A piece. He wants a piece. You know who else wants a piece? His chief of staff and head of socials. We have a problem, Pop. We have a problem. Now, all of a sudden, look, I got his number so that we could just shorten the feedback loops and post more clips faster so that we don't miss current events.
Hey, that was brilliant. You sent me this screenshot this morning of your email to him. And what I like about you, you're just rapid fire. Sometimes it harms. Other times you just rip. And this was like, hey, Chamath, you're taking too long to tweet. Give me your number. That was essentially...
Okay. Let me give you the context.
Give me the phrasing, because it was nice.
I feel like everything's going so slow right now. We're doing 2 clips for Chamath. We're doing 2 clips for David Sachs. We used to do 4 clips for David Sachs. David Sachs and I aren't that close anymore. So I'm like, all right, things are moving kind of slow. Let me keep hounding Chamath to post his clips. So I send him a clip. Boom, in 5 minutes. Actually, no, he doesn't respond. I hit him back. I'm like, can we get this out today? And also, like, what's your desired frequency? Basically, like, is there a reason you're not sharing? And he comes in with an edit. Apparently, he was talking about microchips. We had put pirate ships. All right. So he says it's not, quote, ships, but, quote, chips, as in microchips, semiconductors. I'm like, Chamath.
Did you watch that clip? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
And you approved it?
You did too. We watched it here in the studio.
Micro ships. How about that? Little ships.
Let me be honest. He gave it the softest CH. It's like ships.
Okay. I've seen that before.
So that went through all of our protocols and we got a graphic for ships. Fair enough. That has to be changed. We get that fixed. Approximately 2 hours later, for some reason, China is up at 3:12 in the morning in the Philippines. China, thank you. We get that fixed. I send it to him. He doesn't do anything yesterday. So I'm like, enough's enough. I hit him this morning. Can I suggest we text? Question mark. I want to short.
This is verbatim what you said?
This is verbatim what I said now.
Okay.
11:26 this morning. Can I suggest we text? I want to shorten our feedback loops so we don't build up a surplus of your content and miss current event cycles. 2 minutes later, Pop. Not 2 minutes later. Yes, please. Sends me his number.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
So,
which just goes to show you, like, he and others like him are on their email all day long. It's just a matter of like...
Oh, that was 2 minutes later. I didn't even listen.
It's like,
to
what's
you
the
right
level of engagement required that determines whether or not they respond to the email?
What's funny is clearly he's on email and responsive there. So really shortening the feedback loop could be done in email. But he's like, yes, please. Here's my number. Like, Sachs had offered his number to you before too. It's just, it's
that
weird, dude.
Sexy little minx. But Pop, we have a problem.
Oh no.
Because Pop, it's not just me and Sachs sexting. All right. It's not just us going back and forth no more. He brought in his chief of staff and he brought
Sachs
in head
or
of
Chamath?
socials. Chamath, sorry. He brought in his chief of staff.
You're sexting both of them?
Pop. Yes.
Let me get a piece.
Could you imagine if 6 months ago we thought we'd be sexting David Sachs and Chamath Palihapitiya?
Dude, that was my dream back then. I'm not even that. It's like, oh, that's cool. You got their number. It's not
well,
even
because
like
you text Naval all day. It's
True.
ridiculous. Here's the problem, Pop. Here's the problem.
Lay it on me.
Now we've got too many cooks in the kitchen.
Oh, no. One of these?
One of
Colin?
these. Pop, Carmen's back, Pop.
Yeah, what's she doing?
So I'm talking to Michelle, and she's like, "Hey, can we add this other person, Carmen?"
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "Wait a
We
minute,
know Carmen.
I know Carmen." And that's all fine and dandy, but now it has been 4.5 hours, and chief of staff and Carmen, which I guess we're not going to bleep her name, they've been going back and forth figuring out how to post this clip. And I'm like,
What do you mean how to post it?
Exactly, Pop. Did you see
that
that email you just got?
I don't want to be in on that. That's
Carmen's
stressing me
trying
out.
to download it from Frame so that she can write a caption. I'm like, click the link and post. Chamath needs to click the link and post, or they need to sign in and click the link and post, Pop.
Well, she might not have access to Chamath's account.
They do.
Are you sure?
Yeah, and then they want to share it on Social Capital, so I gave access to Social Capital. And I gave access to both of them.
Hey,
So,
you gotta
Pop-
text them. You gotta text Carmelita and let her know what's up.
Hey, let me see if it went out, actually. It's a great clip. It's a really divisive clip, but it was kind of about the news last week, so it needs to get out. It's about China. It hasn't gone out, Pop.
Nice. Do we want to talk about anything important here? Okay.
Let me see what other pop.
Wait, so
I got.
Carmen ignored all the elephant in the room of us talking to her? Nice.
Yes. We're just trying to figure out how to post this clip that Chamath just needs to click and post.
Hey, head down. Let her rip.
Were you gonna say something?
What about? Remember we used to say, "Are you ignoring the unicorn in the room?" Like we have to acknowledge this right here. This is a massive company. I gotta raise the T out here, but here's the issue we're having. Right, there are all these people that okay. I was gonna talk about Top Shot and pricing, and then that got into a whole rabbit hole, and then it's like Top Shot has this thing that's insanely valuable that we're producing for them. I didn't realize before we signed the NDA it was gonna be on this scale. So I was like, oh yeah, we'll just do it for free. That's awesome. And they're like, okay, that sounds good. They're not gonna object to free. But then we signed the NDA and they're like, yeah, this is a 3-week project worth fucking a lot of money, like millions and millions of dollars. I'm like, huh. Maybe it shouldn't be for free. And then it's like, okay, you start riffing on this this like variable pricing model. Cause we took like the assembly line factory model of just like, here, you need X widgets. This is how much it costs. Or like you need X time of clips. It costs $7.50 per minute. You do the math. But we're leaving a lot of money on the table. And people like Mike Maples of Floodgate Fund, he's like, yo guys, I literally I've been spending like 30 grand on shitty marketing. I can spend that each month with you guys. And we're like, okay, well, we probably don't need that. Let's just do 15. And that's like 20 minutes of clips. And he's like, I don't need 20 minutes of clips. And we're like, huh. So you're telling us
this is very confusing.
This deal isn't going to happen because you have too much money and too little content?
I blacked out.
Me too. Me too.
I blacked out for
he
for
has the money
reasons.
to spend, and we don't have an offer that satisfies him. And so now Belky, you're like, okay, well, let's get into strategy, or let's figure out like some other angle where it's like we remove ourselves. And Shane Mack, one of our mentors, he told us, he's like, get out of the like, you get X amount of clips or X amount of minutes of clips for Y dollars. Get out of that like translating effort into or output into a price. You don't want that. You want
time and money.
Shit's like 20 grand a month, and you're just gonna have dope social content. I don't know how the pitch is.
Right, because what we're saying is, if for Mike Maples and Floodgate, our content, if the goal of our content is to increase deal flow, and we get one more unicorn in the door, as they say, one more thunder lizard, that's not fair to be priced at a $700 clip, unless we're the machine. Fine.
Right. And you have this clip, which the Top Shot people want, and it's probably going to be a minute long. But or same thing with that call-in video that we never really posted. Like,
they emailed me today. Really? They need all the assets, so they're picking it back up.
They finally found someone. Oh my god, that's hilarious. But like that video or a Super Bowl ad, that's tens of thousands of dollars. So
right. So think about it.
Where the fuck do we specialize? What do we focus on?
The $1 million Super Bowl ad is 30 seconds. All of them. I don't know, Pop. I don't know. This is our biggest problem. I think two things happened. As we're battling this model issue, this product issue versus agency issue, I get this email newsletter from a buddy, Stephen Wise, an internet buddy. And he's a freelancer. And he sent this thing about that video I sent about pricing things based on the value and diagnosing your customer's problems.
Oh, he sent that to you?
He sent that. Out of that comes this book we're reading now about the No Pitch Manifesto or something. I don't have an answer. What I do think we need for certain, as we're trying to blitz these people and pitch or not pitch for that matter, based on the manifesto, we need a website, we need a portfolio.
But my problem, okay, maybe my issue is like we change so often that what we spend 20 grand on a website and then it's irrelevant. So I think we need like the evergreen version where we at least have, here's how we can easily add anything to the portfolio. Here's like our podcast on one like I guess a couple different pages. 1 is portfolio, 2 is our podcast, 3 is like our rule book, and then maybe some other page that I don't really know. But right now, smartnonsense.com is just the podcast, and it looks terrible because I designed it myself in WordPress a year ago. So I don't know. We have to. We don't have an offer. Like before we have a website, we need an offer, and we don't know the offer because it changes every day. We had a meeting today.
It's crazy.
And it's like, can you guys do like 10-second clips and then turn that into a GIF and then also a static image? And I'm like, I don't know.
See, this is my worry that this will be the agency's life forever. It's just always somebody needs something different and custom. I like the idea of us becoming the best 60-second clip people. You know, it's $10,000 a month. Like that's more or less the product. But it's just like nauseating the different things people want. And we end up doing this like roller coaster of prices and products all week long.
Well, part of me is like, okay, hey, this is just turning into a phone call that we normally have.
Yeah, let's go.
It's whatever. We're not going to clip this. We don't have enough tea. This is just for the records. But it's like we have our specialty is these short form, highly animated clips. We don't compete on the long form episodes. We're super replaceable there. We can add animations. We can do YouTube too, but like YouTube, there's a lot of talent there. It's probably better to just like, we do it for Dharmesh, but it'd be better if you just hired some dude full time in America for like $8,000 a month just to fucking pimp out his shit. Granted, I think we still work faster and better, but he'd be better off in house, I think, with that. So that's just like, that's not our edge. Our edge is like the 60-second or less highly animated clips. Like that's just our shit. No one else can do that. That's why we have so much demand. So it's a question of how do we have to niche down, but at the same time, I'm like, do most people want to spend $10,000 plus on just short form clips? Because usually they're like, oh, well, if I'm spending this much, can I have like a couple other, like, can you do the full podcast too? Can you do XYZ?
There's always something.
And then it turns into one of those, like we just had it with HubSpot. They were like, hey, we want to double down on YouTube, and we don't fuck with YouTube. And so they're like, oh, you don't fuck with YouTube? We're going to find another vendor that does. Granted, that other vendor is going to have really shitty short form clips. So they're going to, like, I assume they're not going to be able to do what we do there. So maybe they'll come back in that sense. But the problem of niching down is I think it just narrows how much money each particular client can spend on a smaller segment. Good thing short form is blowing up and everyone's like focused on it. So I think that's where it does, or it might make sense.
Yeah, I think too, what that manifesto book says is like, be the expert in your thing and ditch everything else.
Yeah,
quit competing with people over price. This was like a red flag in Carmen's email when she's like, oh, I'm talking to other influencers and they can do these edits for like this. We don't compete on price. Like we don't do that because that's when you just run in circles. It's like if we are the expert at telling 60-second stories and making them go viral or have the best chance of going viral.
Okay, so here's what's interesting. You know how I was worried about, okay, now we're going to become a production house in that if we want to still have like a $15,000 plus retainer each month for each client, then it's like, and it's only short form content, they're going to want to shoot it because it's much more valuable. Like, for example, we just released No Rules, 60 seconds. We shot for that. That people should be doing. Like the highest ROI is like, say you're Chamath and you want to attract more people to your fund. You should shoot a 60-second clip of yourself. We'll edit it down, make it amazing. But it's like, here's why Social Capital is awesome. Or Mike Maples, here's why Floodgate Fund is unlike any other fund. And that's the best investment rather than just trying to take a clip out of a podcast.
But they're lost. They're just so lost. And then we end up having to do all that pre-production.
But here's my thing. So I'm like, look at our clip of No Rules. It's on our Twitter and our Instagram. We remove the background in it. on it. It doesn't matter. Honestly,
no, I'm not the video. I'm just saying like what to shoot for, like story brand stuff.
I know, but I'm saying, like you read Built to Sell. It talks about, it took their logo design process and distilled it into like 5 steps. So we have our own version. I'm like, hey, we just give it to every client. Here's how to make an awesome 60-second video. You can shoot it on an iPhone. Just make sure the audio is good, and we're going to make it amazing. And then the ROI on that video alone is going to be, who knows, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is, even if the quality isn't great.
I think, that'd be cool if you systematize all the production. I think the reason we found such a niche in podcasts is because going on a podcast is forcing them to sit down with decent lighting and record something. And they don't have to think about that pre-production because our team is so good at cutting these 60-second story brand things with a 5-second hook, yada, yada, yada. So we can really pull these clips out of thin air. Yes,
right.
it's better
effortless
if they're there. Yeah, it's effortless. And these people have no effort when it comes to this.
Right. I mean, it's just a weird, we're in the weird space of, okay, some clips are worth $700, some are worth $20,000. How do we figure out? We've been dealing with the $700 ones. Is that the best?
What I think is if you want this thing to prosper and you want it to grow and to some extent scale, I think you have to have the unified product, which is 60-second clips. You get whatever amount of them per month.
Well, I think it would, I think we'd do it like this, like, hey, we do 60-second clips and then we figure out what's going to figure out the strategy. And then we talk through, it's like, okay, do you have time to shoot? If they're like, no, okay, we're just going to repurpose all your existing content. Boom.
Yeah.
Or if you have time to shoot, okay. Like most people, unless
maybe
you're
there's just like a repurposing package. We can just come, like you've got the input, you've got the media, we just chop it up. That's the repurposing package. On top of that, we can help you shoot ads or higher ROI stuff. But that kind of like baseline retainer is just to have a presence on social media.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think there might be a world where pre-production and production, actually shooting the video is systematized. I think that could be doable. I don't want to fuck with that because we normally hate it. It's a lot of back and forth, and then they're asking questions like, "Oh, is my mic good enough? Is the camera like?" I don't fuck with that. We just take your existing content and make it dope.
Right. So, Right. Remember, like in doing all of that strategy is us having to get stoked about solving their problems and being stoked about whatever sector they're in. And we're not that for a reason.
That's why it's kind of nice, like taking Dharmesh clips, for example, because they put all the production effort into making, say, inbound keynote. It's already shot. We just take it. Like we're just, hey, yeah, it's already there. Boom.
Yeah. And the reason you built this, especially around our podcast, is because of the automated machine. We had all of this inbound content. We just needed to go through it automatically behind the scenes and repurpose it. That's what I think all of our only clients right now, that's what they're doing. They have all of the content. And every time someone comes in because they want to shoot something, we're like, what does that cost?
Right. I hate that. I just hate the individual negotiations. I love the factory, you go into Stop and Shop and it's like, okay, here's the price tag. Take it or leave it. Granted, we're leaving a lot of money on the table a lot of the time.
But you're also leaving all the stress and confusion and negotiation and like all the question marks on the table too.
Right. And I'm like, okay, if we're actually believing Naval's thing, like set $5,000 an hour as your hourly rate, like that's your opportunity cost. Well, I mean, if we're doing it, granted, we could hire someone to do this that's creative and pay them $10,000 a month and kind of like not worry about that, which might be viable. If it's actually us involved, then it's immediately not worth it after 2 hours. like whatever the project is. So, I mean, I don't know.
Look at me, Pop.
Is this a podcast or a phone call? What are we doing?
It's just it's a stop and chat.
I guess.
And chat. So there we are. Still don't know what to do, but
I think why this is important is like for anyone has a startup or has a business, it's like fucking every day is different. Every day you're trying to figure it out, and like we change so fast. I don't know.
It's all made up too.
I know everything's made up. Like no
so
one
it's
knows.
Right. It's like right now we have one problem. What's the most viable solution to beat that one problem? You want to come up with maybe a no-brainer retainer. Ooh.
No-brainer retainer.
No-brainer retainer that's, $10,000 a month, 10 clips.
Right.
And that's just our religion. That's everything. We're just the clip guys.
So the thing is, like, when we shot this no rules thing, it was easy, and I know it has a good return.
It was only easy because of all our specific knowledge.
I know, but say we come in. Okay, so it's a bitch if it's a one-off project. Like, hey, we're going to set up your whole studio, do this one video for you. But if we get people set up and we're like, okay, we're going to work together for 6 months and it's $30,000 a month and let's get the studio set up. We're going to teach you exactly how to tell a story in 60 seconds. Month 1 might suck, but by month 2, they get the format, they get everything. So now they're just getting ROI and they're like, this shit is so worth it. That's a lot more valuable than trying to extract podcast clips.
Maybe.
Like we could, if we went to Mike Maples and he's like, okay, let's take your entire budget. Let's call it like $20,000 a month or whatever. We'll do $10,000 just repurposing old clips like that. That's our normal shit. But we're also going to spend some time in production. Like the other half, we're going to put towards producing videos that are targeted exactly at the startup founders that you want to invest in.
Do you remember though too, like Mike Maples, I'm sure could do it. But so we did that with the client and then we get on the phone and we're like pulling teeth to get this guy to have some freaking energy on the video. Oh,
those do suck. Okay, never mind. Scratch that whole idea.
Right? We're sitting there. We're like, can you drink a cup of coffee?
Okay. Well, it's kind of like this podcast right now. This is like how their energy is all the time.
But the thing is when they go on a podcast, they're bringing their A game because they're there to have a constructive conversation, to preach, to teach, like whatever they're doing.
But okay, so we clearly don't want to do it because our opportunity cost is too high. But we have some creative person who gets story brand, gets everything, and is willing to work with these people. Can we just be like, hey, you're going to work with fucking Tori, and Tori's going to walk you through how to shoot an amazing 60-second video. And Tori just does that for 10 clients. And that's just like her job. And we pay her $10,000 a month, but she brings back an extra $50,000 because now we can charge for that.
I guess.
But, I don't know. Then
I still just think it's easier to take already produced content and cut a 4-minute clip down to a 60-second clip and make it shareable.
Right.
Like we just can't fuck with production.
Okay. Well,
look at last week. I spent 2 or 3 days just getting Dharmesh set up to shoot something.
Oh, that was miserable.
And Dharmesh, he gets all the story. Like that was just technical.
Right.
We couldn't do anything.
Oh, no way. We can't do production in any form. You're so right.
It's crazy. Like Dharmesh, his clip, like literally the sun is going down as he sits there and shoots all day. And he's sending back and forth like, he's sending test clips to make sure everything's good. And then all of a sudden on the 4th test clip, he's selected the wrong microphone. And it's like the computer microphone. I'm like, it's a lot.
Okay. So what we're going
for the
back
repurposers,
now,
Pop.
Because we got to shoot this. We send our shareholder letter every 2 weeks. We got another one coming up in 2 days that we have to shoot.
I'm flying Friday. No, we got to shoot that tomorrow, Pop.
Oh, fuck yeah. You're going to Cali. Okay, so we're gonna shoot that tomorrow. And what are we gonna tell them? We gotta tell them something. Are we like, okay, our religion is 60-second clips. We're gonna understand short form better than anyone else in the world. Honestly, because of our selfishness. Like,
wait, yeah, sorry.
No.
I put this in an email to Shane today because I was caffeinated. Here's what I said. Our goal right now is to niche the agency down to just 60-second clips. That's our religion. Bring on 10 clients, delegate the agency out to run itself, and then turn our attention to build software tools to A, make our team better and faster, and then B, bring better animation to the masses. That's what you and I, when we goal set a week ago, that's kind of what we had come up with. I'm like, how do you get to 10 clients if everything is just like Top Shot over here, MFM needs this, Hustle wants something, some GIFs for email. Like, we just got to have one thing. And you come to us because you've got hours of footage, like Dharmesh, like Mike Maples, like Onchain. And we automatically, you just tell us the timestamps, we automatically repurpose that into something that's shareable and viral. That's what does the most views. All of our all-in stuff is repurposed. All of the Naval stuff is repurposed.
Right. Okay. It's just 10 clips, 10 grand.
Also, look at this on the Dharmesh production side. He has to ask us, he's like, guys, and you should see all the back and forth with AJ. He's like, I'm thinking about shooting Thursday. AJ, will you be up Friday early morning to take a hold of this? And then I can leave comments. It's like all of the production. Then you have to work around daily schedules.
Right.
Just to shoot the content and get it in the queue.
That's what was amazing about the last 2 months is I've had an empty calendar the whole time. Like the last 2 days was the first time in forever that we've had 2 business calls. I'm like, what the fuck are these? So that's why I was like, oh, I love the factory when it's just like,
yeah, because we stopped doing meetings. And the only way to not do meetings is to have one product that people buy with a credit card. Doesn't have to be that extreme, but yeah, I'm thinking like 10 grand a month, 10 clips. It just scales from there.
But then what happens with the 30-second clips? Do we have the 2 levels?
Up to 6, maybe. Ideally.
But then it's like, oh, I have a 32-second clip, and it's like I can't cut it any shorter. That's a minute.
Yeah. We round up around here.
I don't know. We gotta. This is funny that this is a podcast. Hey, if you really want the behind the scenes, this is.
You know what we need to do, Pop? Yeah, this is 98% of the time. But Pop, what we actually need to do is go review like 15 Smart Nonsense podcasts that are stuck in the queue.
Oh my God, yeah, we do. This isn't going to get released for like 3 weeks.
I just see ready for review. 102, 104, 106, 107, 108, 111, 113.
Really?
There's so many, Pop. What have we done?
Oh, fuck. Let's rip through them. I'm stoked. Okay, so we gotta review those, and then let's figure out, because people are dead listening to this. Whoever is, Nico, you're probably here, but everyone else, they're gone. But I want to figure out what the hell are we updating people on. I like the 10 grand for 10 clips, but we got to solve the like 30-60 issue. Because 60 is like, it would be kind of cool if we can do 10-second clips too. Maybe that's just like, what the fuck's going to do?
Pop, we got to hang
actually,
up.
it's up to 30. It's up to 30. I think rounding up to 30.
We have
It's such an interesting problem though, but I think it's so common where like, oh, they want to test all these new things. Okay, they want to do the GIFs. They're like, can you just take that 15-second clip that we made, turn it into a GIF, and then also turn it into an image so we can include it in the email? It's like, that makes sense as their business. I would love to try that. But for us, now we have to create a new package. But at the same time, it's like, what if they're like, okay, well, we need to work with someone that's willing to do that stuff. Like,
You see,
but it's not a problem if we have 1 million people banging on our doors. But maybe it's the on-demand thing. Like maybe we don't need the retainer.
I don't know, Pop. This is why the agency drives me crazy. There's just no rules. It's basically like it's like what one-off project is interesting.
Yeah, there's no one-off project that I'd want to do.
No, the system.
But then it reminds me of Basecamp, and they're like, you know what? No matter what size company you are, it's $100. Google, $100 for your whole company. Startup,
but don't they
$100.
sell one thing?
Yeah. No, it's kind of it's the same problem that we're having. It's like, well, do we want to try and scale it so we can, or not scale it, like customize it so that we can extract all the value, whatever value Top Shot is getting. We're just going to price it to that, and then we get all the value possible. Or is it that model where it's like, hey, here's just the price. We know we're losing out on a lot, but we're just a production house, or like, here's the software and you just buy it as a Basecamp user. Well, you clearly don't have an answer.
I don't know.
I like 10 clips, 10 grand. That sounds cool.
And they're going to be the best 10 clips on the internet.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. You're not getting off the line. Don't worry. Having clips, like every clip is so good we're stoked to put it out. Like our wow metric is, would we post this on our Instagram or on our Twitter? Because now they're legit. Now we have 3,000 followers on each. It's like, okay, does this represent the brand? If we're producing a fuckload really fast, not all the clips are gonna. But if we're getting even better, like we go from 2 days per clip to 3, now the quality is amazing every single time.
You just have to be careful that in setting that bar, right? Our superpower is consistency. That's what the system's about. That's what the rulebook's about. That's what everything's about. We are consistently good. But if we set the bar too high, shit won't get out the door.
10 for 10. I love 10 for 10.
10 for 10. Like we still have to ship at 80%. But yeah, 80% on 3 days is better than 80% on a 2-day edit.
10 for 10. Dude, I love 10 for 10.
10 for 10 doing 30 for 30s clips.
Oh, okay, we gotta think more. I like that a lot because it's 2 clips a week, and most people are willing to share 2 clips a week. Like no one thinks that 2 clips a week is too much,
right?
Whereas we had the problem back when we were producing like fucking 35 grand worth of content for Hustle or for MFM. It was like that's a clip a day. Like that's just, unless
then
you're
you start
actually
diminishing returns.
Right.
2 clips a week is like enough. You see it on All In, you see it on Evolve. That's like enough to maintain your presence online. Have people want to share your ideas so they go viral. And be excited, like 10 for 10.
2 good ideas a week. 10 a month.
That we're extracting from content you are
10
already shooting.
10. I like the idea. It's like, oh, you have a 30-second clip. All right, we'll spend a little bit more time on it, make it like extra dope, but it's still 10 for 10.
I mean so play this out on Twitter. That 30-second clip does just as many views as the 60-second clip. They have the same outcome.
Well, technically, it depends. Everyone measures based off of views. It should really be measured off like total view time. But
true, right? If we can get people to watch for 60 seconds.
No, but yeah,
but that's where I'm like 10 clips, 30 seconds or 60 seconds.
That's, I love 10 clips. I love the idea. It's just our religion. That's just it. It's like, this is the church of 10 for 10. It's like
10 for 10 because it bridges all the gaps, Pop, of like quality, right? If we just have 2 a week, we can maintain quality. Consistency, you're showing up twice a week.
Right.
Not diluting that, right? You'd want to share 2 clips a week. it's also still a good amount that we're always iterating on top of that. It's not one clip a month that you're just laboring over. You are shipping like 2 pieces of art per week.
Mm-hmm. And so we don't do YouTube anymore.
No, there's so many YouTube editors. There are not that many smart nonsense animators that have the tools to create like we do.
I'm so curious now that Carmen's back, because we spooked her when we said, "Hey, it's $30,000 a month," and she's like, "Oh, that's kind of a lot." If we're like 10 for 10, hey,
10 for 10. We don't say which 10s it is. 10 cents, $100, $1,000. It's just 10 for 10. Okay, Pop. I think this shareholder letter is 10 for 10. I'm glad we just brainstormed for 2.5 hours on the air.
10.
I hope.
Was this recording the whole time?
Yes. And I hope this is an episode we can look back on when we sell this company, the 10 for 10 company. 10 for 10. Our goal is to have 10 clients by the end of the year.
Oh, 10 for 10 for 10?
Which is $1 million ARR. 10 for 10 for 10 for...
I mean, it's a little over $1 million, but...
1.2, 1.5. Is that 10 for 10 for 10 for
10 for 10?
10 with
10
4 zeros.
Ben 10. 10. I like all that.
Pop,
okay, that's dope.
Pop, I think we got to go, Pop.
Darmesh is going to be like, wait, you're leaving me on YouTube?
No.
No, all our existing people are.
Right, so like in the manifesto, you have your expertise. You have your religion. You can always do one-off projects here and there when you have the people, the time, the money, and the desire. But it would be unwise to base like the root of the business off of these random Darmesh needs YouTube, like Top Shot needs an ad, Colin needs a whatever Colin needs.
So our to-do, I guess we have to revamp the rule book to be 10 for 10 in addition to shooting this tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think what we pitch Maples is 10 for 10.
It's so goofy. It's so funny. Like, it's a really weird thing leaving so much money on the table.
What'd you tell me about Coke, though?
Coke?
Coca-Cola.
Oh. Well, it was kind of like... It was like some people value Coke at $100, and it's like, are you going to go to each person and try and like sell it to them for $100? But now you're wasting all this time. No, set up a vending machine. If you got $1, it roughly it costs them 50 cents to make. They're just going to make a profit each and every time. It's not worth having Coke salesmen trying to squeeze out every last dollar from everybody. Like, okay, Maples, we're missing out on $20,000 that you could spend. Use that elsewhere. But
do paid ads.
We only like we get TikTok, we get Reels, we get YouTube Shorts, we get whatever the fuck else there is, Twitter. That's just, we get that space. And what I wanted to say before is like, this is for our own selfish desire, is that this is the best way to grow if you want to grow your brand. So we just learn it for ourselves, and then we're going to teach you in the process, and we're going to grow together, which is fun.
We forgot a point, Pop. It's 10 for 10 for 40. Because in doing those 10 for 10, they're purposed for TikTok, Twitter, IG, YouTube. You're getting the 4-banger output. We're just the 60-second social people. 10 for 10 for 40.
Well, 10 for 10 sounds nicer.
No, I know, but...
Can I get that URL, 10 for 10? Domain? 10 for 10. Fuck. Okay, well, I'm excited. Rulebook, we got to update. That's our religion, and we're going to shoot tomorrow. Shareholder letter. Hey, if you're really dope, well, actually, no, shareholder letter, we got to keep that top secret.
No, that's top-ass secret.
Top-ass. Okay.
Episode Ben 10 in the books. That was a funny one.
God, hold on. I'm going to bring the tea next time. I didn't have the tea today, but it's good because this is like our actual calls. And this is a FaceTime. This is a nice little FaceTime.
This is a nice FaceTime with these microphones.
Nice. All right. I'll see you in an hour.
See ya, Pop.
Bye.